Hello again, 19th day, second video. Now this stuff I would ask you to write in your notes, I think, if you're taking notes. I just remembered something I think I didn't say about, so stop for a second. I don't think I said in the last video that if you watch Caveman, as I asked you to, that spoof, that silly spoof, toward the end of it, and I don't know if you were swept up by it and thought it was funny, you might have watched a bunch of it. I sometimes will show the very end of it to students. Well, if you watch the very end of it, there's two allusions I would like to point out. One is an allusion to David and Goliath, right at the end. And the other is an allusion to that graduation song, Pomp and Circumstance. Bum, ba-da-dum, dum, dum, bum, ba-da-dum. That happened, you hear that played over and over and over again when you graduate. Well, there's a musical allusion at the end of that. I forgot about that. Anyway, in the chronological survey, at a certain point, humans coming up through time, one of the classics or achievements was humans figured out that you could make ceramics and bricks. What they figured out is that if you take clay and you get it hot enough for long enough, clay turns into something different. It turns into pottery, and it will never go back to being clay again. You can smash it, you can grind it, but it will still be clay. It doesn't rot. You can leave it underwater for 500 years and it's still going to be pottery. Well, that left us a lot of our archaeological knowledge because pieces of ceramics are still around. In the field trip that I took you on, I was going through the meadow. There were places, if I'd gone down and grabbed a fistful of clay, I could have. It's many places clay. If you grab ground and squeeze it and let it go and it still shows your fingerprints, well, probably there's a lot of clay there. And it works. You can make stuff out of it. Well, when that happened, I'm going to jump ahead to say that one of the things that happened with clay and other things too is you get a spiral motif. Well, let's let that go for the moment. Don't write it down. But I would like you to write down art. There comes a point where humans begin to make art. Why they do it, I don't know. But they do. They did, and they do. There are artists. And an example that I'd like you to know about is a little sculpture about this high called Venus of Willendorf. If you go onto Google Images and type in Venus of Willendorf, you'll see lots of images of this. A strange little sculpture. It's of a woman. It's of a naked woman. But you'll be so surprised, I think, and the students always are when I hold a picture up of it or something, to see the shape of it. I mean, this is not what we would normally think of as an appealing naked woman. And yet it's coming from about 30,000 BC, and somebody took a lot of work to do it. A Scientific American article years ago, in the 60s maybe, was devoted to studying why does that look like that. And it's not the only one. There are other Venuses, they're called. They think maybe it's a fertility idol or something. And I don't think they have a completely good answer. I once watched a documentary that devoted quite a bit of time to it, suggesting that art, so much of art is about exaggeration. Well, this woman, what I'll say to the kids, certainly isn't erotic. This woman, big, fat woman, well, she looks like she would be able to keep babies alive, which I think maybe was a very important factor in the beauty of a woman in prehistoric times. Is this a woman who could probably keep a child alive? I don't know. But anyway, Venus of Willendorf, I would like you as an assignment to do a couple of clicks on your computer, go to Google Images and type that in and see that image. One of the oldest, maybe the oldest famous artistic image that humans have. The Lascaux cave paintings, you could do the same thing if you type that in there. And before I leave that, one of the things I like to tell kids is I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about artists, but I am not one. I do not have that gift. And yet, certain humans clearly have that gift. And they had that gift. I can show those, I can look at those images, those Lascaux, or Venus of Willendorf, those Lascaux cave paintings. If a guy had a gun pointed to my head and said, you make a drawing or a painting as good as that, I would say, shoot me. I can't. I can't. I'm dead. And yet, certain humans can. And in any given class of, say, 8th graders, there's always going to be 4 or 5 that have the gift. I marvel at it largely because I don't have it. And I appreciate it a lot. Well, by the time you get to 30,000 BC, humans, there are clearly humans who have that gift. And we have some evidence of what they did with the gift. I guess finally, the spiral motif, it's been a long time since I've read about that, but apparently all over the world, humans showed evidence of being interested in a spiral. It shows in their ceramics mostly. So I'm just kind of tipping my hat to the very beginnings of art. And I guess that's going to be it for today. I hope to see you tomorrow.